Okay, so we have this question here. It says there are cards in a box. 15 of the cards are red. Then there are also blue and white cards. If the probability of drawing a blue card is 0.125 and the probability of drawing a white card is twice the probability of getting a blue card, and then it says how many cards are there in the box, but actually that's part B. So we're actually going to go first and answer question A, which is what is the probability of the red cards? Well, one important thing to note about probability that will help you with this problem is that the sum of all possible outcomes, the sum of those probabilities has to be one. You can only get red, blue, or white cards in this problem. And so the sum of the probabilities of getting a red card, a blue card, or a white card must equal 1. We can isolate the probability of getting a red card by just simply subtracting the probability of getting a blue and white card on to the right side. And so we see that the probability of getting a red card is 1 minus the probability of blue plus the probability of white. To help us out, we're going to use the fact given in the problem that the probability of getting a white card is twice the probability of getting blue, which is known. It's 0.125. So if we say that the probability of getting white card is 2 times the probability of blue, we can substitute that in for the probability of white, giving us 1 minus the probability of blue plus 2 times the probability of blue, which simplifies to 1 minus 3 times the probability of blue, which gives us 1 minus 3 times 0.125. And if you do that calculation, you get 0.625. So the probability of getting a red card is 0.625. The next question is how many cards are there in the box? Well, we can use the definition of probability to help us. In general, the probability of some event A is just defined to be the number of ways that A can occur divided by the total number of outcomes. And simply rearranging this, doing a bit of algebra, it's very simple. We get total number of outcomes is equal to the number of ways A can occur divided by the probability of A. Well, for this specific problem, the total number of outcomes is like saying the total number of cards in the deck. And then the total number of ways A can occur is just the number of ways we can get red cards, because that's the event that we're asking about here. And we can divide that by the probability of getting a red card, which we calculated in the last problem. And so the total number of red cards, by the way, it was given in the problem. It says there are 15 red cards. So we simply put 15 in for the number of red cards, divide by the probability of red, which we calculated already, which is 0.625. And if you do that calculation, you get that there are 24 cards in the deck. The next question is how many white cards are in the box? We're going to use that fact again, that the probability of getting a white card is twice the probability of getting a blue card, so that we can get the probability of white, which is going to help us get the number of white cards. Anyways, if we use the fact that the probability of getting white card is 2 times the probability of blue, then we get 2 times 0.125, giving us 0.25 for the probability of drawing a white card. Now, again, using the definition of probability, the probability of getting a white card would be the number of ways we can get white cards divided by the total number of cards. Simply rearranging this a little bit by multiplying both sides by the total number of cards, we get that the number of white cards is simply equal to the probability of getting a white card times the total number of cards. We know both of those. The probability of getting a white card is 0.25, and the total number of cards in the deck is 24. If we do that math, we get that there are 6 white cards. Part D says how many blue cards are in the box? Well, we could use probability for this, but at this point we don't need to, because we know that there are 24 cards total, and we know that there are only blue, red, and white cards. So if we know the number of red and white cards, which we do, then we basically know the number of blue cards. Now the math still would just be take the total number of cards, 24, subtract out the number of red and white cards. If we do that, we get 24 minus 15 minus 6. We'll get 3 blue cards. Okay, hope you found that helpful.